Yeah, and we're only about 2 days into it. But yeah, it is, I tell the youngsters, get a bit of music that the crowd are going to love, because automatically they're going to get on your side. We all have a favourites. Aaron Monks is my favourite. The Monkeys.
So it's Wright versus Burnett. Wright to throw first. Penultimate game of the second round and straight into the treble 20. This is a man in form. And look at this, what a way to start this would be.
140.
That's a ton 40. Shot up the rankings, Peter Wright, that World Championship. Seen him go up to the Premier League, his third seed here. UK Open semi-finalist last year as well.
100.
Only picked up his first Pro Tour win in 2012, that was Killarney. But he just hasn't looked back. His throw is smooth like butter. And his progress has been equally serene.
100.
Up the rankings. Richie Burnett, though, is a man who's done it in the past, as he famously said in an interview at the World Championships. He believes he can do, and I quote, magical things on a dartboard. And when he's on his game, we saw the best of him at the Championship League. He's playing incredible stuff for a few days there. If he can turn it on,
24.
he really can do anything.
Yeah, the only thing that Richie's lacking, like a lot of players to be quite honest, that little bit of extra consistency. They can fire off a couple of legs, 12 and a 13, but then go off the boil a little bit. And
97.
in set play, sometimes you can get away with it, because obviously you've only got to win 3 legs in every 5, and if the other 2 are absolutely atrocious, it don't really matter. And that's why James Wade, his averages are never up there with everybody else's, because he has legs where he doesn't care if he wins them or not. If he's so far behind, he just doesn't care. Now, I always tell people never give up on a leg, but James Wade thinks, right, I can't win this, I'm not going to hit a bid score. But so in set play you can get away with it. In match play, as in legs like this, you don't tend to get away with it so much.
Ton 40 there for Richie Burnett. Leaves him on a potential 2-darter, and Peter Wright, after putting a 140 in his first visit, his legs kind of fizzled out a little bit. Can Richie Burnett take an early advantage in this one? 64, he's only going to get the 1 dart at a double, and it's double 16.
32. If you are 120.
Well, Shanghai on the 20s. And this is just to hold on to his throw. Well, he's going to get a dart at double top, and this would be a body blow for Richie Burnett if Peter Wright can hit this. Oh, and it's dead centre, isn't it? That's the sign of a confident man. Richie Burnett misses the 1 dart at double 16, but Wright doesn't miss the tops. But it was only to hold the throw, so not everything lost.
No, absolute perfection from Peter Wright in that visit, but this was ever so close to being a 180 to kick off the leg.
Well, Peter Wright played superbly down in the World Championships, as we know, losing to Michael van Gerwen. But then we go to Hindlesham, and he changed his darts, changed his flights. And I have to say, me and Mike commentated on it, and it was the worst game I'd seen him play in 2 years. I mean, he was pretty poor, and I spoke to him, and he said, yeah, I changed my darts, but then promised he was going back to the original ones, which he did for the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see if these darts are the ones that he's been playing in the Premier League the last 2 weeks, or has he changed them again? Because he's a little bit indifferent on the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, he did change his darts halfway through the Ladbrokes World Championship, and he was still averaging 100 pretty much solidly through the tournament. The worst game he played was in the final, and that was down to some missed doubles early in the game. I mean, it takes something
100.
for a man to change his darts and just carry on playing at that same level.
You've got to be very strong-minded, because in the game you're obviously going to have little, dips. And as soon as you have a dip, then, if you change your darts, you're automatically going to blame the darts. But he never did that. And that is very strong-minded.
Well, even his friends and family were saying in the World Championships, no, what are you doing changing your darts? You'd played a great first-round game. Why are you changing them? And I spoke to him after his second-round match when he performed just as well, and he was like, I think I've proved something. I've proved to everybody else. He believes he knows the right way to go, and it doesn't matter what anybody says. And that kind of self-belief is the sort of stuff that has propelled him to his current standing as a Premier League player, and a man who is looking at 141 checkout right now. Needed that treble 19.
109.
But make no mistake, Peter Wright is a contender in every single tournament he goes into now. You wouldn't have said that a few years ago. But he's a different man. Double 8, that's quite a long way away from the double 16, but that one is exactly where he wants it. And Richie Burnett, a slap of the hands. First leg on the board.
Well, Dan, I think there is one thing that we all agree, how lucky Peter Wright is that his actual wife's a hairdresser. Otherwise that would cost him a fortune, wouldn't it? You know, he's changed his hair every time. He's got whatever shirt colour is. The hair matches it. He hasn't got the multicoloured trousers on today. He leaves that for the big stage, which, again, it's a sign of someone thinking about not only just playing darts, but the business side of darts, leaving the big, leery things for the big stage and a little bit calmer on the smaller ones.
Oh, yeah, this is positively muted for Peter Wright. This is a conservative dress. Nothing conservative about these darts, though. Attacking that treble 20.
140.
Another ton 40. Didn't always look like this, Peter Wright. Very famous picture that's done the rounds on social media of him playing back at the lakeside, when in fact he lost to Richie Burnett. And he looked like a mild-mannered, meek little character. Certainly not the one you see before you. He calls it his war paint. The clothes, the hair. Says it allows him to go up there and be what he wants to be, a showman, an entertainer. And more importantly,
59.
a lethal dart player.
140.
Well ahead in this leg. 160 points clear nearly. No pressure on this. Oh, really wanted to stay straight. That was the most important thing there, really. Hasn't managed to do it.
Well, he's kind of acting behind the mask, isn't he? A psychologist would look at him and say, yeah, he's a different person while he's on the stage because he can do that. Where when he's off the stage, you would never see Peter like that because he's actually quite, you know, he's a very quiet man.
58.
So, yeah, there's method in his madness. Well, it ain't so mad the money he's earning now.
Well, certainly isn't. As Peter Wright now. 16 for double top. And a 2-1 lead. Beautiful stuff.
Well, 120, now 116 for a 2-1 lead.
And he's 2 for 2 on his doubles, both on double top. Ominous from the point of view of Richie Burnett. But that is a response. A 180, first of the match. He hit 4 in his first round win over Jihan Artut. 92 and a bit average. It was impressive, if not brilliant, from Burnett. But we do know what he's capable of. World Masters winner in 94 as well. The year before he won the World Championships. That's 4 perfect darts for the man from the Ronda. And that's 5. He's missed it by a little way there. But importantly, it's put him within striking distance. But I tell you what, if Peter Wright were to slam in a maximum of his own, and he's threatening to do that, really stubborn on the treble 20, Peter Wright, he'll move and try and get in there rather than switch down.
That's the only thing he's lacking with these new darts. He doesn't hit as many 180s as he used to. But if you look at his 140 count, he more than makes up for it. Well, I talked about the Kevin Painter sponsoring young Sean Lovett. Well, I've just had news from our media officer Dave Allen, who's always on our ear roll. He's just qualified through the Rileys for the UK Open that's in early March. So that's a tremendous start for young Sean Lovett and for Kevin Painter. Well, can Peter hit the 180 this time? He certainly can. He finds the corner of that. What a time to hit a maximum.
Certainly is now. 160, it's a big one. We have seen some big shots taken out today. And it's on for Richie Burnett. Ooh, unfortunate. 80, and
Oh,
I'm not
he's
sure where he's
fell
gone.
Pick him up, Kurt, can you please?
140.
Well, he set it up nicely, but Peter Wright has got his choice of double, and with the way that he's been going on double top, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 10 first. Well, it's 18 for double 16. How's he going to fare on this? Needs to come in a little bit.
34.
Too much.
Richie
And that was for a breaker throw and a 3-1 lead. But Richie Burnett is back for a 13-darter. Missed that by a long way, and he knows it. Good job he missed outside. Has to attack it now, and does so, and it's in. And Richie Burnett levels the match up.
Fifth leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
That was a 15-dart leg from Burnett. 2 legs apiece. With snake bite. And Wright had a brilliant chance to break the throw. But he carries on with those 140s. Very strong on the treble 20 now, Peter Wright. Very consistent.
Yeah, excellent. And another trademark of his, he's been brilliant on the big combination finishes. And it's not in the way that, say, a fast player like Gary Anderson does, and it's all rhythm and flow. It's just deadly accuracy. I mean, he's one of the big practices, Peter Wright. He's got basically a wing of his house that he's built. It's all designed for him to go and just throw darts all day.
83.
Watching a film, there's an ad break, he'll go and chuck for 5 minutes. And pick the kids up, he'll have a chuck when they get back. Just constantly, hours of practice every day, and it's paying off. Speak to, say, one of our referees, George Noble, and he said, we saw him back in those days in the Lakeside, and I always thought he could be this good. It's taken a while, but right now the accolades are just flooding in. It's just momentum, soaring up the rankings. PDPA Player of the Year, Most Improved Player. Obviously the World Championship final was the icing on the cake.
Yes, and come Christmas, no doubt, at the Ali Pali Festival of Darts, which is called the World Championships, there'll be loads of people walking around with multicoloured hair, you can guarantee it, and possibly, well, he wants double 12. That's unlucky. I think we'll start to see it in the Premier League once we get 3 or 4 nights in.
Well, as long as you keep your own hairstyle, Rod, nobody wants to see you in a spiky, multicoloured Mohican as Richie Burnett hits his second maximum of the match. However, Peter Wright is looking at double 12 to shut the door in his face.
Peter Wright. 6 leg is for Richie to throw first. Game on.
105 average currently for Peter Wright. Difficult to live with. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a former world champion or just some bloke down the pub, but Richie Burnett, he's got his work cut out for him here. He has just won a tournament, actually, Burnett. Won a tournament out in Las Vegas. Beat an American player called Joe Huffman in the final of that. There you go. 11 points in the average. Doesn't really matter if Burnett can just hold his throw here. It's as you were. But if Wright continues that kind of form, it's going to be very difficult to break him, and Burnett has got to do that if he's going to win this match.
Well, that's the biggest difference in Peter Wright and a lot of other players now, is that consistent. He's throwing these sort of averages every single game. And when you're doing that, you are going to be very hard to beat. With Richie, with his form, it tends to go up and down, and the way Peter Wright closes out games, very good as well. He isn't going to mess around too much.
Yeah, he relishes being on the stage. Doesn't matter what the crowd are doing. He's been actively encouraging them to make noise while he's been going for doubles. I mean, that's a revelation. Seems to thrive off it.
Well, here last year, when Kim Huybrechts won it, Peter Wright played Raymond van Barneveld. and he come on and he was dancing and everything, and he took out a 164 and he give it to Barney right in his face. And Barney weren't too happy, but Wright went on and beat him, and it works. He doesn't care who he's playing now. He'll play his own game, he'll do his own thing, and you've got to admire him for that.
Yeah, it was Kim Huybrechts who knocked Peter Wright out here last year, and it wasn't a poor performance by Wright in any respect. He was averaging 101, I think it was. It might have been a shade over what Kim Huybrechts was, but Huybrechts found the gears when it mattered. It was just an unstoppable force, Kim Huybrechts, in the latter stage of the tournament once he got past his scare against Wayne Jones. Of course, he won't defend his title, as Michael Mansell beat him 6-4 earlier on. Peter Wright, if he can get a treble here, it's a great chance to break. Well, he come down for the bullseye. It's an understandable move. In the end, he's missed it, and he's beaten himself up a little bit at the back of the stage. But Richie Burnett, look at that. I don't even know how to describe that facial expression.
Yeah, he's not happy, is he, with that low dart? And the reason is it's right below the treble. But that's a superb dart. I think that's found the treble. Yeah, the second dart was exceptional. But Peter Wright, he took 116 out in the first leg of the match to actually nick the leg off of Richie. Well, he's going to get a dart at double top. He took a 120 out as well, didn't he?
91.
Oh, well, it can't have been far away. Peter Wright was 2 for 2 on double top. That missed dart, though. It allows Richie Burnett to level the match again. And Richie Burnett may be surviving a little bit by the skin of his teeth, but he is still in there fighting. It doesn't matter what's gone before in the first 6 legs. It doesn't matter that Peter Wright is 10 points clear on the averages. It's all level, and it's effectively a 1st-to-3 game here. And Peter Wright's just gone 57 to kick off the leg on his own throw. And that opens the door for Richie Burnett.
Yeah, didn't punish the first 3 darts of Peter Wright. Will Peter Wright punish that poor score of Richie?
Well, a ton from Peter Wright. Vincent van der Voort awaits the winner of this one. Van der Voort coming for a 6-5 win against Gary Anderson. That magical 138 checkout in the deciding leg. Swung it his way.
100.
We've seen some good performances tonight. Ian White beating Terry Jenkins. I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen Terry Jenkins miscount so many times. I think 3 times in 2 legs he miscounted. And don't see that more than 3 times a year, I think, with Terry Jenkins. As Richie Burnett goes to fill it up. Well, he's got a little bit of daylight between himself and Peter Wright. A ton is not going to really hurt Richie Burnett too much. Mind you, a 180 might, though.
140.
Oh, this could be a massive visit for Richie Burnett. 81 left. Came down for treble 19. Well, he's forcing Peter Wright here. He might have to take this out. Or it could be a break. Well, he's got a chance. He'll stay there. It's not good enough from Peter Wright. 64 left. Comes down. Well, it leaves him 48, but Richie Burnett, 78. He could do this in 2 darts. He has 3. It's for a break. It's a huge moment in the game. 60. It's a 20 for double top. There's loads of room.
58.
But a missed dart from Richie Burnett. Was that? Will it turn out to be his golden opportunity to knock out the 3rd seed? Is Peter Wright going to punish him? Double 16 he wants. Just got to come inside.
16.
Wrong side of the marker dart.
Well, as they say, fill your boots, Richie. Can't give up another chance. No, he's chasing up the 5s. Put it above. Oh, straight in. That's a great dart from Burnett. Takes a 4-3 lead, and that's a breaker throw. So now he's got Peter Wright up against the wall, to be quite honest, and now Peter Wright's got to pull out a couple of exceptional legs to get himself out of this turmoil.
Certainly does. Richie Burnett. Now, we talk about how brilliant Peter Wright has been over the last year, 18 months.
100.
Richie Burnett beat him twice within a month in October, beat him 6-3 and 6-4. He leads 4-2 in the head-to-heads, although that does include that game back at the Lakeside, way back in the mid-90s.
100.
Wright has beaten him in the big ones, though. He beat him in the UK Open. He beat him in the semi-final of the German Darts Championship before he went on to lose to Dave Chisnell in the final. Is this going to be revenge for his defeat on the European Tour? That was the best performance on the European Tour for Richie Burnett, making the semi-final of the German Darts Championship. He'd love to go one or even two better and win one.
Well, he won't have a better chance than beating Peter Wright on this big stage than he's got at this moment. Needs to find the treble. Got 40 points.
100.
That's a good straight ton. He's edging his way down to the double first. Yeah, that's great darts from Peter Wright, though, just to put the pressure on. But Richie Burnett now, he's probably going to think he's got 6 darts from here.
Yeah, he may well do. We have seen some big finishes taken out at crucial points, though. Is Peter Wright going to provide another one? A 164. He's going on the 19s, it looks like. And he needed 2 of them for the ball. It's not going to happen. Well, there's a ball.
He won an 89 there, so the treble 19 would have left him double 16. Now, Richie's previous 3 darts was a visit without a treble, so he needs this ton plus, the 104. And this will put him within 1 leg of the match. Well, he's going to have a dart at it. Requires 50, 10 for double top. What a massive dart this is for the Welshman, and that's a well-thrown dart, and you can see his reaction going, I can't believe that's not in.
Well, a whisker away. But can Peter Wright capitalise? That is bang in the middle of the treble 20. He wants double 8. And double 8 he gets. 76, breaks straight back. Peter Wright has the upper hand again. And will Richie Burnett rue that dart at double top?
I think it was the previous visit without a treble that really cost him that. You know, he'd scored so well in that leg.
43.
And just at the wrong time has a visit. He just has 3 bare 20s. But the double top, to be fair to him, was a well-thrown dart. I mean, he couldn't get any closer without actually putting it in. Well,
that's not a bad way to respond, Rod. Kick off the next leg, 180 on your opponent's throw. That's a 3rd maximum of the match for Richie Burnett. What has Peter Wright got? Just a ton, and it might not be enough. Richie Burnett has stolen the darts. And this game is seesawing back and forth between who's got the upper hand. It has been never more than a leg between them at any stage. But right now, Richie Burnett. Oh, well, for the 2nd time in the match. I'm not sure if it was directed at us, that.
I think he was.
For the 2nd time in the match, he threatens to be on the 9 darter. And misses the 6th. 140 keeps Peter Wright in it. But Richie Burnett is in the driving seat. Well, he won't like that one.
And again, he's had a visit without a treble, as I mentioned it, the previous leg. And this is where Wright has been so good over the last year to 18 months. Punish your opponent for a mistake. Richie will settle for a ton. The 140 may hurt him big time.
134.
That's great darts from Peter Wright. Now, Richie will know Peter Wright may only have a dart at the bullseye, though, so can't afford another visit without a treble. May go 25 here, or is he going for the 19s? He went for the 25. That leaves him 90. If he returns, he may get the worst way dart at the bullseye.
But Peter Wright is looking to clear this up in 2 darts. Well, that's a long way off. But that isn't, and Peter Wright has pulled himself back from the brink in that leg.
Richie to throw first. Game on.
180, 125 to start that leg, and he still lost it, Richie. That may be the reason he was shaking his head. But Peter Wright in the last 2 legs has taken out 76 and 84. That's to add to a 120 and a 116. They're the kind of finishers, if we're honest, that Phil Taylor has built his career on taking out.
You're absolutely right, Dan. I mean, you know, Phil Taylor doesn't outscore many people. There's loads of people in the game that can score as well as Phil Taylor. But if you look from, say, 60 up to about 120, Phil Taylor, you know, with all the world champions, he's probably 7 or 8 out of 10, where all the other players are only 4. Peter Wright here, he's already had 4 out of those 5 legs have been those sort of checkouts. And when you've got that in your armour, you're always going to be dangerous, and you can't be led off by your opponent, because you will punish him. And certainly Peter Wright has done that to Richie.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he's 1 leg away. Now this is on the Burnett throw. He is favourite to win this leg. He certainly is now. Can he take this all the way to a decider?
140.
140 is doing exactly what he'd want. 121 after 9. The best Wright can do is leave himself 125. If he did, that'd pile the pressure on Richie. Well, it's not going to be
100.
a finish. So Richie Burnett has got 6 darts from here to take it to a deciding leg. It looked on paper like one of the ties of the second round. It's turning out to be just that.
Well, he's opted for the double 16. He steered away from that double top. And all Peter Wright can do is put a bit of pressure on, and he's going to do that. 85 required. I like the 25 here. Guarantees him 2 darts at the double if...
140.
Well, I don't know why he stayed up there, but never mind.
So Richie Burnett needs this. And gets it. We are going all the way here. Richie Burnett, the former world champion, and Peter Wright, the world championship finalist, are going right the way down to the wire. Wright has the advantage. He's throwing first. Will he make it count? Not with his first 2 darts, he won't. That's a great switch down to the 17s.
Well, Richie's hit 4 maximums. What he wouldn't give for one of those now, or even a 140. Well, that looks pretty good for a 140. That's exactly what he's done. He's just tapped Peter Wright on the shoulder and says, right, I'm after you.
And that looks a lovely position for Peter Wright. Oh, it's just flown past it.
81.
Well, a great first dart, and unlike Peter Wright, not to at least be in the right sort of postcode with his next 2.
Well, a chink in the armour of Peter Wright there. Can Richie take advantage? No, you see that snatch. Well, that second dart of Peter Wright's previous 3, I think was still rising as it was going over the treble 20. It was so high.
Yeah. It's like a Jason Puncheon penalty, that one. But that is a great visit. And suddenly Peter Wright he can smell the 3rd round. A tie with Vincent van der Voort is at the end of his fingertips, if he can just reach out and grab it. 6 darts from here, he'll be telling himself. Set this up. A 140 would leave him a 2-darter.
Maybe 25.
105.
And again, that second dart was well high, wasn't it, after hitting the treble with the first one? Well, Peter may only get a dart at the bullseye, so Richie's got to find the treble. And that's one in, another one of those. And he's going to put the pressure on. 120, scored 89, the 57, treble 19 leaves him double 16. And when we talk about setting the shot up, that's perfect. Big pressure on here from Peter Wright. And we talked about these checkouts.
Well, I never. Peter Wright has already taken out 84, 76, 116, 120. It's been Taylor-esque in his finishing. 87 is for the match. He's got 2 darts. He has to go across to double 9. He doesn't like this. He's been dissuaded from it by his missus. She says stay away from double 9. And that's the reason why. He has missed it by a country mile in darting terms. And Richie Burnett is coming back for the match. 2 darts from Peter Wright for the match have been missed. And Richie Burnett has punished him. Wright averaged more all the way through that match. It did not matter. The Prince of Wales got the job done when it counted. That 177 to set up the shot brilliantly in the deciding leg. He bounces around stage in delight. And the Prince of Wales has knocked the 3rd seed out. Richie Burnett goes through to play Vincent van der Voort. And coming up, we have got 1 more game left. It will complete the 3rd round lineup. And it's Adrian Lewis, the 2-time champion of the world, against the young Welshman, Jamie Lewis. Can he join his mentor, Richie Burnett, in the last 16? Keep it here on the PDC YouTube channel.